Hope you're well. I don't even care that there's a police chase on right now. um, the first thing I want to talk about is something I tweeted about 15, 20 minutes ago. And forgive me if this stream is disjointed, doesn't meet the standard levels of articulating what we just witnessed. That I can't believe, when I say I can't believe what I just saw, it's about one play in particular. And I want to take you back. I want to take you back to 2016. Because in Game 7 of the finals, we all remember that for the Kyrie shot, right? Score tied. What felt like an eternity. And similar to now with the police chase happening at the same time. Battle of the Bastards was happening concurrently. Game of Thrones. Everyone thinks, when you think Game 7, you think of Kyrie's step back. What nobody discusses, and what I consider to be one of the biggest butterfly effect moments in NBA history, is when Kyrie Irving went to the rim against 3 Warriors defenders, and he missed. He didn't even really attempt a shot. It was like this half shot. He was trying to get something up in transition with an opportunity to put the game away. And for some godforsaken reason, Kyrie decided to go to the rim before retrieving what I think was considered an offensive rebound. Again, no one knows to this day if it was a shot. But if that ball goes out of bounds, we are talking about one of the biggest gaffes in NBA history. But nobody cares because of that shot that he made. And what happened tonight with De'Aaron Fox? Him going to the rim. Even, this is the same exact situation that the Knicks were in Game 1. Where we watched Josh Hart pull a ball out instead of hitting a streaking Mikal Bridges for a potential game-sealing layup. Because there are times that you can identify where simply bringing the ball out is worth more than scoring points. And while it was wide open, at least he thought it was, to have the lack of wherewithal to go to the rim thinking you have a wide open easy 2 and not pull that ball out. This is not an example of like hindsight. If it goes in, we're not talking about this. No, yes, we are. There is no world in which scoring just 2 points in that scenario within 2 seconds of retrieving possession when there's 24 seconds on the shot clock is ever the correct decision. And I understand it's chaotic, but what we have just witnessed is one of the biggest gaffes in what is going to be considered one of the biggest gaffes in NBA history. And it's a shame. Because De'Aaron Fox has hit some really big shots. especially in this series, despite going, I think, 4-14 in game 3, whatever it was. To go to the rim and let OG Anunoby chase you down just gave the Knicks their equivalent of blocked by James. We didn't know it at the time because the Knicks were down. But you have just recreated what transpired in the 2016 NBA Finals in more ways than one. You somehow, some way, just completed the butterfly effect moment of Kyrie losing that ball out of bounds going 1-on-3 and OG Anunoby's chase down block. And I don't know if the Getty Images has uploaded the photos from the game just yet. But whoever gets that still shot of OG's tap back or put back is going to be his statue outside of Madison Square Garden. That's his statue. How? How many threes did that guy hit to get the Knicks back into this game when they were down by 30, down by 29, whatever it was? And only seconds prior, some of you are not old enough to remember this. Some of you are not old enough to remember the ATO that the New York Knicks, I think it was Pat Riley. Is it Van Gundy or Pat Riley? The New York Knicks drew up in 1995 for Patrick Ewing in the Eastern Conference playoffs against the Indiana Pacers. Not 94, but 95. How many of you raise your hand in the chat if you were alive for that layup that Patrick Ewing missed? Have any of you Knicks fans, even if you're younger ones, have you seen that play before? A point-blank layup, while not uncontested, was missed off the back rim from a 7-footer who's made hundreds of thousands of those throughout his career. And for Josh Hart to mistime that jump, because watch where he takes off from. He took off way too far out, and he knew it. And he decided halfway up that I can't dunk this thing. I better lay it up. And it was too late at that point, and it goes off the same exact spot on the rim that Patrick Ewing's did. The very same spot, the center back of the rim, and it kicks out over the front of it in the same exact way. The PTSD that I was hit with in that moment, I can't tell you anything that happened from there until the final buzzer, with the exception of OG's tap back. I really can't. For the number 3 on the New York Knicks at that time to be so cursed, whether it was John Starks back in 94 or Josh Hart tonight, followed by at the defensive end, the first time in his NBA career that I can identify him bird watching and not boxing out, just completely forgetting to box out. And Steph Castle goes up for an easy second chance opportunity, and then Josh Hart fouls him almost as bad as Victor Wembanyama's foul of Jalen Brunson throwing the ball away in game 2. To somehow overcome that, Tell me that there is not divine intervention in play right here. Tell me Josh Hart missing that layup the exact same way Patrick Ewing did, and then committing that foul on Steph Castle is not divine intervention with the Knicks still winning. Jalen Brunson decides to pull a logo three out of an ATO with Victor Wembanyama closing out. And that divine intervention that I have just mentioned a couple of times in the past couple of minutes, because he shot it from so far away, because it was so ludicrously high difficulty, Victor Wembanyama was not there to help rebound. And because it was so far, OG Anunoby gets a red carpet to the rim for a putback. How? How does that happen? How did it happen in 95? How did it happen in 2016? And now we're going to be talking about how did it happen in 2026? I don't think there's any logical explanation for it now. Once every decade or so, you get divine intervention. What led to the Ray Allen shot in the corner against the San Antonio Spurs, that won finals? Tim Duncan not on the floor, Chris Bosh. That ball bouncing to the one spot on the floor where there was a Miami Heat player. How does that happen? How does that happen? Kyrie Irving not losing that ball out of bounds in Game 7. It's this weird emotion of, I'm sure there's, what's happening in New York right now? Are they recreating The Dark Knight Rises? I'm sure they are. I hope they evacuated all the women and children out of Midtown West for their sake. But it's this weird emotion of understanding what just occurred for the first time in 38 years of my life. The anomaly working in my favor and not against my team. While also not being surprised. As any of you who have watched these videos dating back to when I started doing them right after COVID, about halfway through in 2023. The biggest compliment that I can give these guys is that nothing ever surprises me. How they erased a 22-point deficit against the Cleveland Cavaliers in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals like it was nothing. I'm not surprised. And it's finally hit me, even with the team being down by 29 points. I never once thought for a second that that game was over. Why? No, well, I certainly let some tears out there for about 5 to 10 minutes or so. W Why am I not feeling like one of those zombies that's running around Midtown right now? It is such a testament to what this team has accomplished all year long. And I understand that people are busy doing other shit from, like, Thanksgiving through Valentine's Day. But when the Knicks come back to beat a team in the middle of December that they were down by double digits against at home at the Garden, and they've done it now, what, for the 15th time this season, you kind of start growing numb to their ability to walk through the flames of basketball adversity. And I know a lot of people probably don't care because it's against some bad team and the NFL's on, or you're watching something else. Why would I care about a regular season NBA game where they load manage all the time? But to watch the Knicks come back and do exactly what you just bared witness tonight, time and time again. I have to overcome this feeling of nothing about this surprises me. And that is the biggest compliment that I can give them. How they remain so level headed in these moments. How many times the Garden crowd has seen this team come back. And how each of those San Antonio Spurs, after enjoying the luxury of going 14 of 20, what did they start off the first half? 14 of 26 from three or something? They couldn't miss. To watch teams melt under the spotlight of Madison Square Garden in these moments, for it to actually happen in the finals, is a proof of concept that, in a weird way, I always knew was possible, but never really expected to believe. We survived a game in which Dylan Harper outscored the Knicks bench in its entirety. A game in which Dylan Harper replicated the rise of Kawhi Leonard on those early 2010s San Antonio Spurs teams in Miami. Other than Victor Wembanyama, is that guy the most like talented player on the floor and we just don't know it yet? And he's one of their best on-ball defenders? Someone explained to me how it's possible to come back in a game like that. I'm going to start reading some chats now. Does it feel like the series is over? No. No? Did you watch the post-game press conference? Could there any be any more of a could you be any more stoic than OG Anunoby just was? Shit Chris K in the chat is someone who clearly listened to the pregame, Wobb's pregame. And God bless my partner Antonio Daniels. But my big question was, could you envision a world in which Jose Alvarado plays alongside Jalen Brunson, because the Knicks will identify that they need an additional table-setting point guard on the floor? I can't believe the Knicks ran out a lineup of Jalen Brunson and Jose Alvarado concurrently to end that game. But it's Jose's speed. And in a weird way, the San Antonio Spurs forced the Knicks to have to play Alvarado because of how fast their guards are and how difficult they make it for that Knicks team to get into offense. And you want to talk about butterfly effect? Because Deuce McBride has been so bad these last two games that he got pulled again by Mike Brown because he hasn't been able to hit a shot and he was forcing over Victor Wembanyama. Deuce McBride is subbed out of the game for Jose. And because Karl Anthony Towns is in foul trouble, Mitchell Robinson can't catch a basketball because of his broken hand. The Knicks go with the smallest lineup that they have played all year long. And is what was necessary to get them back in this game. That doesn't happen without divine intervention. That doesn't happen without Karl Anthony Towns' foul trouble. That doesn't happen without Deuce McBride not being able to hit water if he fell out of a boat. That doesn't happen without Steph Castle's foul trouble. It was the most perfect aligning of the stars that I have seen in a sporting event since the 28-3 comeback in the Super Bowl. Where it's just one thing after another had to happen for that historic comeback to be completed. And in a weird way, the Knicks not being able to get into offense ended up being the biggest blessing that has been ever delivered to this franchise. Let's continue this theme of the butterfly effect and divine intervention. Because I admittedly sent a text message to Antonio Daniels in the first quarter tonight. He will speak to this tomorrow. I texted him word for word that the San Antonio Spurs have just issued the most egregious challenge that I have ever seen since the rule has been implemented in the NBA. It was at the beginning of the first quarter when Karl Anthony Towns got a touch foul on De'Aaron Fox, so he had one already. Karl Anthony Towns then hooked the arm of Victor Wembanyama as the two drove down the lane together, and a foul was called. And because there was so much hand fighting, because there was so much contact, that you could ever think that that was going to be overturned, not only would they lose their challenge, but the ability to hold that in their pocket for the rest of this game if it was close. And to come back from commercial and hear Zach Zarba say that it was not only not a foul on Victor Wembanyama, but an offensive foul on Karl Anthony Towns, giving him 2 at the very beginning of the first quarter, and he's got to go to the bench. And that somehow, in the end, resulted in the Knicks realizing that they need to go small against San Antonio now? How do you explain? How do you explain to someone that's going to watch this back in 10 years how that even makes sense? That's one of the biggest blessings that happened to the Knicks. The process failed, but the result is a victory. How does that make sense? It doesn't. And to see the finals create moments like that with that overturn, which ended up being one of the highest leverage positions possible in the game today. Number one is when you challenge a 3-point play with an and one because you're taking 4 points off the board. That's a lot of leverage. That's a good time to use a challenge. You don't always want to use it when the ball just goes out of bounds. That's worth 0 points unless there's a proximate foul. But for San Antonio to win that challenge, get a second foul on Cat, remove a foul from Wemby, and keep 2 points off the board ended up being the biggest blessing in Knicks franchise history, somehow, some way. The Knicks just won a game where Ariel Hukporti got minutes. I think the moral of this stream is I'm just kind of done trying to make sense of it all. Because I've been trying to make sense of the Knicks for the last 34 years of my life. Ever since I started going to games, 1992 with Xavier McDaniel and Patrick Ewing and all those teams. I think I finally realized the answer now. And it's to stop asking questions and just embrace what everyone else is thinking in the Knicks world out on those streets right now, probably burning the city to the ground in a way that only Bane did. Because I'm just out of answers. It's a great way to put it, Christopher Buck. Trying to explain to people in the chat why I'm not screaming or streaking through the quad or lighting something on fire. Because he looks like this because he found out God is real and he's from New York. It's a good way to put it. That win required divine intervention. And no matter what religion you follow, you embrace. I always like to ask people because I'm curious. How did life start? How did time start? How did the universe start? Someone had to start time, so doesn't time have to be infinite? And then you start having conversations. Some people believe in the Big Bang Theory. Some people believe that there's one true God who's just been around the entire time and created the universe. And I guess we'll really never know until we move on to another world if it exists. But after tonight, I have to admit that that same divine intervention that I contemplate about life existing in the first place has now found its way and infiltrated into my favorite basketball team in the NBA, because I don't think I'm going to get the answers until I meet God. All I know is I hope we remember that game for the OG Anunoby block more than the OG Anunoby tapback. The same way that we remember Game 7 for the chase down block of LeBron more than anything. For him to make up that ground off of your television screen just doesn't make sense. And for De'Aaron Fox to go up so softly, Grack 223 says there are alternate realities where the Spurs are up 3-1, and I wonder what Wob is saying live right now. I could make the case that the Spurs, this should have been the last game of the series. If you were to cut off each of the 4 games after minute 45 was played, who would win each of those games? Spurs. They've been the better team from minute 0 to minute 45 in every single one of these games. Just doesn't make sense. Basketball IQ cannot be taught, Ivan. And for a player to think that the right decision there is to lay the ball in, even if it's wide open, is the equivalent of a running back scoring up by 1, going into the end zone so that the other team has an opportunity to tie the game. If you take a knee, they don't have any timeouts, the game is mathematically over. The lack of wherewithal in that moment to not dribble the basketball out, burn time off the clock, and force the Knicks to use their timeout and run the risk of getting chased down by someone like OG Anunoby is a mistake in which you will take to the grave. And it's one that Kyrie Irving got away with in 2016 that nobody talks about. But De'Aaron Fox did not get that ball back. The same way that Victor Wembanyama did not get that ball back after throwing it into the back of Steph Castle. This team is better than the New York Knicks on paper. Kenny Atkinson would think that this is a series sweep, that they have won the analytics in every regard, except for one, the ability to close. Do not forget that play where Josh Hart did not pass the ball to Mikal Bridges and instead dribbled it out and burned 24 seconds off the shot clock, because the Spurs had an opportunity to replicate that tonight after drawing up a 2-for-1 opportunity where De'Aaron Fox goes to a pull-up jumper in isolation out of an ATO with Victor Wembanyama not touching the basketball once. He had to miss that shot and had to miss the layup or get the layup blocked. That's the only way that the Spurs lose this game. The only way. Analytics, box score statistics, efficiency, strategies, and philosophies mean nothing when there is divine intervention in play. And that's what we just witnessed tonight. That's why we walked away from the 2016 finals thinking nothing will ever beat this feeling of a Game 7, even if you don't have a dog in the fight, because we know what we just witnessed. And I'm afraid to say that this is the first time since that series in which we have seen those same basketball gods reincarnate themselves on the floor because there is no logical explanation as to what we just witnessed. And on the final play of the game, Steph Castle had an opportunity at a putback at the buzzer. He even retrieved the missed lob attempt. There was a ball at his feet that Josh Hart was fighting for as well. Ironically, an opportunity to make up for his mistake of forgetting to box out Steph Castle just a couple of moments prior. Steph Castle retrieves the ball and is able to get it up. And there's no call, there's no foul, there's no bucket, and the game's over. How is it that Josh Hart somehow, some way, was able to redeem himself while also not redeeming himself? Because he didn't do anything, he was just there. And it's as if the curse of the number 3 lost its shackles the same way that Aladdin, the end of the movie Aladdin, when the genie loses those shackles, I wish you free. I feel like I just watched those shackles leave the wrist of John Starks at the summit in Houston in 1994. He was standing right there. People tell me how this is not something like that special. John Starks was 3 feet away from that play. That's him standing courtside with a drink in his hand, pointing and walking onto the floor. That's John Starks. That's the last guy to wear number 3 in the finals. Do you know how much that number means to Knicks fans? How did this fairy tale story write itself in that moment? How is John Starks, of all people, influencing what happens with Steph Castle versus Josh Hart after the previous play of the box out? How is John Starks standing there? There's no explanation for it. Thank you, Trevor Scott, in the chat, who astutely reminds me that John Starks ran past the basket to point to the referee while the ball was still live, to point to the referee that Castle was out of bounds. And I don't know that he was out of bounds. How is it that the man responsible for the last time the Knicks were truly in the finals, I know 99 counts, but it never really counted. The last time that the Knicks had an opportunity at the brink, at the 2-yard line with 3 wins in the series, John Starks going 2 of 18 from the floor, is responsible for influencing the biggest call in Knicks history. I'll wait, chat. I'll wait for someone to explain how all of this just happened in one game. You guys know me as someone who comes in here and just level-headed, objective breakdowns of what we just watched and trying to keep into retrospect, put into retrospect what we watched and why it's important to compartmentalize it during the regular season and remember this for the playoffs. And I'm telling you, someone that has watched every dribble of every Knicks game for the last, I don't know, 25-ish years of his life, I can't tell you what just happened. I don't know what to do for game 5. I don't know what to do for the rest of this series. This is likely going to be the last stream that I ever do for the Knicks. Because if I go to the games, I'm not going to have a cell phone signal. I might be able to give you like a quick reaction video, but if I go to the games, this is the last time that I'm not doing these if the Knicks win. I'm retiring. This is too much. There's nothing more than I want as a content creator to be able to just go off into the sunset like this. I could live the rest of my life. It don't matter what happened. I will just sit at the pool every day and watch this game. Yeah. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Is that police chase still going on? Yeah, there's not a chance. Like, I'll always support the Knicks. But if they win this finals, I'll always be putting it on and supporting them because life's going to move on regardless. They're going to have if they win the finals, they're going to have an opportunity to repeat and there'll be plenty of fans, but I'm ready to I've been chasing this for 38 years. And no matter what happens next year, it'll never match this moment right here. I'm just not going to want to do this anymore. You'll be chasing a high that's never possible ever again. I don't want to turn into a drug addict. Someone that's chasing the high that they once had the first time that they dabbled in a substance. And that's why they turn into addiction. This will be the end. I can tell you right now, this will be the end. And it's sad to say, but that's how I feel. And too much of my life has been dedicated to doing this. It's a blessing and a curse because it's afforded me the opportunity to watch basketball for a living. But that I'm not complaining about, but there's got to be a stopping point. And this is it. This is it. This is the culmination of everything that a millennial Knicks fan has been through, from those incredible teams in the 90s to the mismanagement of the early 2000s, to Linsanity, to the Carmelo Anthony trade, to Tyson Chandler, to Amari Stoudemire, to losing to the Halliburton shot. I feel must have a World War I Chicago Cubs veteran fan must feel. If you were alive for those 100 years and you have your grandchildren just wheel you in to Wrigley Field to watch them finally win or wherever it is that they won, why you don't need anything else. Die happy, man, and that's where I'll be if the Knicks get one more. Certainly. FCO, I appreciate your comment. FCO 9627 says, Wob, we want the Knicks to win, but we don't want to lose you. You'll be ready to move on without me if the Knicks win. You won't need me. Spread those wings and fly away. Your journey is only beginning. This old bird is ready to watch the sunset one last time. Anybody want to talk about the actual game? Anybody have an appetite for how the Knicks got back into this? What are your thoughts, Chad? I kind of want another drink. I need a third White Claw. Drop your comment in the chat, and I'll read it right when I come back. I'm going to get another drink. All right. What do we got? Only 70,000 people in here. Steven says, is the final stream the one that we can get one last closing ceremonies? Unfortunately, Steve Helwick is not going to be up for playing the saxophone for us because he's a Spurs fan. So I don't think we can do it properly unless we pre-record it. Alex says, I had some bad, with many D's, bad thoughts after the Josh Hart missed layup. That was Patrick Ewing in 1995, almost Exactly. If you're watching this stream right now, I imagine you have a device available to you. Go to YouTube and type in 1995 Knicks Pacers Patrick Ewing layup. Go watch what happened to us in 1995. That was a game 7, coming off of an NBA Finals run where we took it to game 7, only for one of our best players to go 2 of 18 from the field. Do you know why Knicks fans are the way that we are, at least someone my age? Because of those consecutive years and moments. To watch Josh Hart do that, it was as if I saw the Michael Jackson or the Tupac hologram at Coachella of Patrick Ewing pop up and drop that ball off the back of the rim for no reason. Josh Hart could attempt that 100 times and make it 100 times. There is no 99 out of 100. Josh Hart would make that shot in a practice gym 100 out of 100 times. How? How? How do you miss that? How does Victor Wembanyama miss 2 free throws right after it? How does Victor Wembanyama miss 2 free throws right after it? How? That's not possible. By Josh Hart missing that layup. And Victor Wembanyama goes to the free throw line down by 1. Does he make both? Does he make both? Someone explain to me how Josh Hart misses a 100 out of 100 and Victor Wembanyama misses twice. I'll wait. There's no basketball. There's no numbers. There's no analytics. There's no statistics to explain what happened here. You have just watched basketball divinity descend upon you, some of you for the first time. We have not been in this place where if you are a Christian or Catholic, you believe that Jesus rose from the dead 3 days after being crucified. And I swore we would never see anything like 2016, where Kyrie Irving's foot is 6 millimeters away from going out of bounds. How? How? How is this franchise the beneficiaries of the New Testament of basketball? This franchise, for every Linsanity, there was a moment where he missed the playoff series because of an injury. For every Amari Stoudemire, there was a moment where he punches a fire extinguisher and breaks his hand. For every 20-point lead, there was a Tyrese Halliburton back rim, the same back rim that Patrick Ewing hit, that it goes through. How? I still haven't seen one answer in the chat, and there's 71,000 of you. Explain to me, because I'm waiting. I've been baptized and confirmed as a Catholic, but if you can answer that question for me, I will convert to whatever religion it is that you explain and pitch. Because there's clearly something in play here that I have no ability to decipher nor articulate. How is Dylan Harper not in that game? How is Dylan Harper not in that game at the end? We are watching the second coming of Kawhi Leonard, Not the same type of player, but the same emergence with the San Antonio Spurs when Tim Duncan was there against the Miami Heat those 2 years. Where is Dylan Harper? What possessed Mitch Johnson to keep him off the floor the same way that Pop kept Tim Duncan off the floor during the rebounding opportunity with Ray Allen in Game 6? How? Oh, wait. Is it the Church of OG? U of L. You guys are giving such complimentary comments in the chat, and I wish I could read and address all of them to make me feel better. Just understand that I'm seeing all of your guys' comments, and I appreciate what you're saying. But one, the series is not over, and two, I apologize for roping you into this experience, because I don't even know, the payoff will feel pretty damn good if they close it out, but they are not there yet. And I'm telling you that we've been here before. And I told you I would not get emotional in any video this season, no matter what the Knicks did, because this is not the first time that they have come back 22 points with 7 minutes left like they did against the Cavs, or how many times they did it during the regular season. I told you. It's great that this happened, but we are not moved by this considering what the end goal is and what this team is capable of. Talk to me in June. But the Knicks are not there. They are not there yet. We felt the same way in 94. I'm telling you, so many of you. I don't want you to feel the same PTSD that has cursed us for 30 years, and how you can't enjoy a single Knicks game knowing and experiencing what happened. How can you ever? Like, Linsanity was fucking awesome, but it's not a championship. It's the whole goal. It's so difficult to share these emotions with someone who was not alive for that. And it's not your fault that you weren't alive. But if you were, I hope you understand this pain and being so close. Being so close, but not there yet, because we were this close before. It's really fucking close. I gotta blow my nose. Sorry. I don't want to blow it into this t-shirt. I like this t-shirt. Here, hold on. I'm going to mute myself in Hakalugi. All right. All right, I'm back. I'm good. Who's the Finals MVP? Is OG Finals MVP? I saw your comment, Jason Lee. I appreciate it. 11 SGS in the Twitter chat says, sorry, I'm bouncing between YouTube and Twitter here. You have said and witnessed this over and over, that this team comes back like cockroaches. Not just cockroaches, but cockroaches survived the meteor hitting the dinosaurs. A nuclear apocalypse. Cockroaches always survive. And when I just tweet out one word, and how millions of people understand or at least know what it means, tell me there is not a more resilient team that has been through every form of basketball adversity this season. Stephen S. says, my wife just commented how your shirt on your head looks like a turban. It says prophet in the background, and now you are talking about the New Testament. I didn't even realize that. Is this not the most perfect partnership of all time with Prophet X? You call it the Mecca, so it's fair to say it was Allah intervening. Has there been anything more unifying of New York City? More than a tragedy of the original World Trade Center bombing, followed by 9/11. That has been the only thing that has unified New York City in totality. And those are both negative. Those are both tragedies. This is the first time where the city has been unified, rallying around something to support and cheer for in New York City's history. Every other sports league has two teams there. It's divided between the Mets and the Yankees, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils, you name it. The Jets and the Giants. In a society in 2026 that is so fractured by economics, politics, religion, extremism, for this to happen, tell me it's not divine. I mean, it's as if some greater power is resetting society and using the Knicks as a vector for it. That's why this shit is so special. But I'd like to reiterate that the series is not over. San Antonio has been the better team in the first 4 games of this series for the majority of each contest. They're going to go back to San Antonio and have the same support that they've had in all of the years of their championships. Man, you got to get Tom Thibodeau. You're right. Tom Thibodeau deserves to be at the parade if the Knicks win this. You know how much this Knicks team had to go through in those first couple of years? Those shitty, overachieving. I'm sorry, shitty is disrespectful. Those overachieving Knicks teams that had no right being in the playoffs. How hard that Iron Five had to work with no bench ever existing for 2 years. Dating back, even DiVincenzo has to feel something right now. Tibbs better be on that float, man. Because these guys are so fucking resilient. And I don't think that happens without Tibbs. He just set the culture with Leon Rose, man. I gotta blow my head. Be right back. I gotta get a tissue. All right. We're good. We're back. Sometimes you just need a commercial break. All right. That's right. K-Tel Vivo in the YouTube chat, the domino effect of Cat's 2 early fouls. Little did we know how important that would be in the Knicks' favor at the time. For 2.5 hours. That game lasted like 3+ hours of real time because of all the fouls. Do you know how much I was sitting there praising? I got onto my knees and begged for Tony Brothers to show up. How micromanaging of physicality they were tonight. Tony Brothers, save us. Save us from this. But because Cat gets that call overturned and has to go to the bench for the entirety of the first quarter, Mitchell Robinson has to play so many minutes that he's asking out for Ariel Huckborty and Jeremy Sohan, who just happened to play for the Spurs the entirety of his career. Again, how? That's like the 9th divine thing that I can bring up from this game alone. Jeremy Sohan minutes. Green means I'm live. Red means I'm on mute. I don't want to blow my nose into the microphone. Great comment. How does Wob have a girlfriend through all of this? Question from Isaac in the Twitter chat. Isaac Colson, who says, who won the game, OG or Fox's inability, bad IQ? De'Aaron Fox did not draw up that play out of an ATO for a high ISO pull-up. That was not De'Aaron Fox's, like, let me take over, let me cook when you have Victor Wembanyama on your fucking team. He was put in a spot. He made a decision. But for Wemby not to touch the ball there is something I think Spurs fans will think about for the rest of their lives. But do you? Spurs fans have, how many fucking banners do you have if you were alive for any of those? You have 5, right? Does it hit you the same way when you have 5 already? Because the teams that I root for, when you get 1, that's worth 100. I don't know how it feels other than Carolina basketball to root for a team that I've seen so many championship from. Sean, yes. I'm still getting questions an hour and 14 minutes into this. I have not watched the police chase. When we're done here, we'll watch it. after we're done. But this obviously, I've always been asked the question, why? Wob, if there's a live police chase and the Knicks win the title, what are you watching? I think you're getting your answer right now. James Harden, OG9792 in the YouTube chat brings up a point here that Cat tipped the inbounds pass that was going to Castle. Go take a look. Can you answer me a question? Because we can, I will pull it up here in a second as we start to watch some of these plays back here shortly. Can you answer if, did the clock start running after the tip? Because the clock is supposed to start. There was only 1.8, 1.6, 1.5 seconds left on the game clock. Shouldn't the game have been over if there was a tip? Can anybody answer that? Even before we look, because I haven't seen the play yet. There was 1.2 seconds here. Thank you, Twitter. Who's Yanks, Jets, Rangers? Wait, Yanks, Jets, Rangers. At least you have the Yankees. Did the clock run when Cat touched it? Evo says, I don't think it did start running. The entire final second was mismanaged. It did not. The clock did not run. Okay. So let's watch some of these final possessions back, because I told you I hardly remember anything that happened after the Josh Hart 1995 tap back or layup. Let's do this now, because NBA.com will have. And I wonder if they could have reviewed that. Is that a reviewable play, chat? If Steph Castle would have caught that and made a shot, could they review that the clock started late? Can't they go to the monitor to review clock situations? Let's watch. I've got it right here. Why is there no... There's no play. Look, on NBA.com, there's no... It just says, can you imagine just following the box score? It says that Robinson subbed in for Shamit, and then the game just ends. There's no explanation here on the play-by-play of NBA.com what happens next. I'm still here like, what the fuck happened? What happened? Why is there no video of that? You know what we can do? We can watch all possessions. I don't think it'll be up yet, though. Why am I not signed in? It is 100% reviewable. Interesting. Okay. Here we go. What? Why is this not on the internet yet? That's just the tap back is all they showed, and then they went to the end of the stream. Does anybody have the final play? Can someone find me an account on Twitter that has the final play? It's got to be like NBA account does. Let's find a way. Come on, I'm Wob. I can do this. I can do this despite being 7 White Claws deep. They don't even have it on the NBA Twitter account. Jerry's got it. Max, unfortunately, a streamable. I can't click. Does Jerry? Jerry Ferrara has it. Jerry Turtle. This is the greatest contribution you have given, even more than your tequila company. Okay. He does have it. So let's take a look at this. I can't hear what's going on in this video, but I'll zoom in for you guys. Game winner with an elevator. Okay, let's see if Cat makes contact with the basketball. He does. Oh, Josh Hart stumbled too. Oh, yeah, it was. Josh Hart was stumbling around the Wembanyama screen. Oh, but the clock does run. The clock's at 0.9, chat. Hold on. One more time.
Hey, real shit, bro. Real shit. Somebody need to go shake Carl Anthony Towns' hand, bro. One of the
wait, let's see. Did it run?
He ran this same play. Again, I forgot who it was, but they got an Andrew Wiggins game winner.
This was Miami against Cleveland. Miami against Cleveland, because it's in my postseason recap video. Okay, the clock hasn't started yet. I can't see in the bottom right corner, though. Oh, he's wide open, man. Josh Hart stumbled again.
Hey, real shit, bro. Real shit. Somebody need to go shake Carl Anthony.
Chat's telling me to watch the shot clock. Okay. Okay, I'll bring it up. It's on the left side of the screen. So was the clock running in the arena, but not the broadcast? Let's see. Sports Center's account has HD everything. Okay. Okay. I got you. Give me a second. This is fascinating. I'm sorry. I just went on an hour and 20 talking about the Big Bang Theory. Let me try and get some footage here that we can take a look at the shot clock. Because if the shot clock was moving, that's different. Sports Center's account on Twitter doesn't have it. I'm going to need some additional here, let me try another account. Thank you, YouTube. Let me try one of these Twitter accounts that might have it. Oh, here it is. Got it. So the NBA did tweet it. Did I just miss it? Let's watch the shot clock in the top left. You can see 1.2 on the side of your screen right now. Clock does not run. Clock did not run. Dude, Cat is definitely within the 3 feet. Why is Mitchell Robinson's in too? Look at that. Cat and Mitch out there at the same time. Yeah, that should have been game over. Okay. That should have been game over. So after the tip, let's see if a 1.2 comes off. Or only 0.9 needs to come off the clock, actually. Oh, easily. Oh, my God. Easily. That's game over. So, Chad, tell me what would happen here if, let's say, Steph Castle somehow scored on that putback because Cat deflected the original lob pass. Whoever in the chat called out the Andrew Wiggins play from the Cleveland game, which was at the beginning of the season, you know fucking ball. Whoever you were in the chat, that is ridiculous ball knowledge. I have it in my postseason recap video, and I didn't even think of that. That is the same exact play. But since Cat tipped it, there is no mathematical way for that ball to come out of the rafters and land. Steph Castle needs at least 0.3 to technically get up a shot that is not a tip or a controlled tip, and the game is supposed to end. So would they go to the monitor If Steph Castle put it back in, would the refs have the right to go to the monitor and review that Cat got a tip and that shouldn't have counted? And then how do they go to the watch and determine that at least 0.9 came off the clock from when the ball was deflected before it was retrieved by Steph Castle? Was there potential for the game to end that way if he puts that back up and in? Also, shout out to 4UIT in the chat who says the Knicks did have a challenge if the refs didn't review it. I don't even know if that's a challengeable play. I've never heard of an inbounds pass in time being reviewed. How we started off this show with divine intervention. How does that ball get tipped? How does the clock not run, especially at home? Someone explain it to me. This is not the stream to come for answers. You're only going to get more questions here. Meatman 253 in the Twitter chat says they absolutely could have reviewed that. They could have challenged it and reviewed it. So there were two different ways per the chat here. I don't know how accurate the chat is, but I'm going to choose to trust you. Fruity, sorry about that. Can you imagine if a win was taken away because they had to go to the monitor and review that the ball was tipped? That would have been, you thought Aaron Gordon against the Clippers where they had to break down the frames to see. They determined in that Aaron Gordon against the Clippers play that the lights on the backboard was only starting to illuminate, and it goes all the way up and around, that they were only starting, and because that process had not been completed, that the shot was actually good. That's how close it was. How would they have done this in the finals? Absolutely, I'm with you, Ivan. If Cat does not tip that, Josh Hart stumbled around the Wembanyama screen. That would have been an easy alley-oop for Castle. The Knicks were not switching at all because they don't want to leave Wemby without Mitchell Robinson attached. I'm leaving under no circumstance. That's what we determined in the huddle. I am staying with Wembanyama. You're on your own. That is the direction from the coaching staff. And Josh Hart almost, can you imagine if that was completed and Karl-Anthony Towns to not get a tip on it? Josh Hart would have gone from missing the layup to the foul on Steph Castle during the box out to allowing that. That's an alternate universe now, where somehow, some way, Karl-Anthony Towns gets his fingertips on an inbounds pass. And I mean nails. And I mean barely gets his fingers on this. Let's see how much he actually got on it. I'm going to try and pause it right when it happens. Here it is. It's coming up right here. Castle's open because Josh Hart is stumbling. He's stumbling right now. He's not going to be able to recover. This is the next time I hit the play button is going to be the Karl-Anthony Towns tip. Look how open Castle is because Mitchell Robinson is not leaving Wemby under any circumstances. Zero. Are you ready for this? That's how fast it happened. So the ball has been tipped. Josh Hart is on all fours right now. He's on all fours. Look how he has a red carpet to the rim, Steph Castle. If that pass is on the money, that's 2 points. If it's not deflected, that's 2 points. It's 2 points so quickly that the Knicks would have even had an opportunity to inbound. It was so open. And here you'll watch it now when I hit play. You'll watch the ball flutter back down to earth. And after the game, Lisa Salters was trying to do an interview with Josh Hart, thought she might, and she said Josh Hart went to the locker room. He's not here. I have to think Josh Hart was going through a roller coaster of emotion in a way that he just realized that he somehow overcame the curse of John Starks and Patrick Ewing in one night. This video is a minute 30 long. Look how stoic this guy is. Nice game, everybody. Congratulations on the victory. Let's get ready to play game 5, everybody. Oh, I got a tip pick in the chat. Okay. Rin IZZ. We'll look at that after this video is over. Larry David, this was almost your fault, by the way. Rin IZZ. Someone has, I'm going to look up the picture of the still shot of the there it is. Nicely done, chat. Just going to put this up on the screen for you. I mean, that's, guys, that's like fingernails. Guys, that's I mean, that's divine intervention. That's the top of his fingernails. Just enough on it. Full extension. That's a 7-footer. Thank you, chat, for providing this. Can someone, now that you guys have been so good about, because I haven't been on the internet in the last hour and 32 minutes. Oh, that's right. If I go to game 5, I got to bring the World War II book so I can burn that thing. Cat got it on the claws. Can anyone please provide me a screenshot of Steph Castle potentially stepping out of bounds with John Starks pointing at it? Oh, we got a stat of the night here in Twitter. The Spurs are the only team in the NBA history to have 76 or more points in the first half and 30 or fewer points in the second half in any game, regular season or playoffs. It's that inexperienced man that's really stood out here closing these games, unfortunately for them. NBA history for the OG tip. Thank you for the OG tip. That's going to take the screen. I would like someone to help me find the Steph Castle. NBA history. Oh, how wonderful. Someone finally got the shot, kind of. I prefer a baseline view. But that's his statue right there. That's his statue outside the garden. This whole Knicks team should get statues, but that's his. That's his pose. Thank you, Trevor Scott, in the Twitter chat. Rate the refs has Steph Castle step out. Let's see if it was a step out or if they were influenced by the Garden crowd. Rate the refs. Oh, Josh Hart called for a foul that sends Castle to the line. Castle actually stepped out here. Let's take a look, chat. I got it. Let's see. God, guys, I don't remember this happening. I really don't. Like, what? Oh, that's. Is he out of bounds? Look at John Starks. Look at John Starks. That's him. He's trespassing on the floor. This guy, John Starks, pointing to the baseline. That's the only thing I remember. Did John Starks influence the refs? He's not out of bounds. He's not out of bounds there. Is he out of bounds there? Not even close. I can see blue between his shoe and the baseline. Look at Starks. Look at Starks standing on the Knicks. Guys, this is so fucking divine. Of all people, it's John Starks. There he's in. Let's go to the next step. He's still in. I can see blue. I can see blue. Oh, wait, is that right foot dragging or is it elevated? Oh, it's in the air clearly. Okay, he's inbounds right now. His foot, both of his feet are elevated, and even the left one, the toes are 6 inches left of the baseline. Let's keep going. Still in. There's no way that's out. His right foot is elevated. Now he's in the air completely in this frame. Oh my God, he is not out of bounds. And there's Starks running down. Look at Starks in the beige hat. Oh, but great point in the chat. E. Radinsky, 91368. If San Antonio elected to challenge this, would it have been ruled a proximate foul against San Antonio? Because if you challenge an out of bounds play, all fouls are vulnerable to being called. Let's watch if there's enough here, because Josh Hart sure looks like that he is forcing him out of bounds. Let's see if there's hold on, let me back it up. Is there a push off here? Oh, that's tight. Okay. No foul by Castle. No foul by Castle. No foul by a push off from Castle. And you're going to see Josh Hart embellish right now. Oh my God. No way, man. I'm going to watch this like 10,000 times. Hold on, people. You all got to deal with me for a minute. I can't believe it's John Starks of all people. Can you see my mouse? No, you can't see my mouse. You guys can see the top of the screen. Hold on, let me watch. Yeah, you can. That guy standing on the court is John Starks. Because right now they're hand fighting for positioning. Oh, did he dribble out of bounds? Hold on. Did he dribble right here? Let's see. Nope, definitely did not right there. One more time. Did he dribble out of bounds right here? Okay, the ball's about to hit the floor. That's inbounds. That is inbounds all the way. Okay, no offensive foul. Nothing close at the moment. No feet out of bounds. Next frame. Ball's back in his palms. Still no foot out of bounds. Next frame. Josh Hart is in illegal. I mean, we're in 1992 Derek Harper defense, Mark Jackson defense right now. Next frame. I would consider the same. Wait, Left foot. Is the left foot elevated? It looks awful. It looks as close to. Sorry, that was a drunk click. Let's watch the left foot here. Is the left foot touch out of bounds at all? No, I can see blue. I can see blue between his shoe and the baseline. And Josh Hart's getting no offensive foul right now ruled against Steph Castle. What kind of defense is that? He's jamming a wide receiver. He's a cornerback jamming a wide receiver in the first 5 yards. Okay, let's keep going. Next frame. Is the left foot, did it move? No, I can see blue still. Why do I keep hitting that fucking button? He's in bounds right there. This is where John Starks starts to point, though. So I wonder, is the front of the shoe out of bounds? Look at John. Now, John Starks is almost on the fucking floor. Can you imagine if John Starks influences play somehow? Oh, my God. Can you imagine if John Starks stumbled onto the floor and got a fan technical foul after what happened in 1994 and got the San Antonio Spurs a free throw? Because look how close John Starks is. John Starks is 12 inches away from being on the floor. Any millennial Knicks fans out there going through it right now watching this? I need another White Claw. I had to pee. Running out of space to put White Claws. Okay, over here. Carson Bailey, you're going to have to tell me why I need to check these accounts, because for now, this is the best angle we have. Okay, here we go. Next frame. Nothing. That's not an offensive foul. No way. Still not an offensive foul, as far as I'm concerned. Look at the right forearm. Oh, Carson Bailey says Slim Sleeper has Kyrie's layup. Oh, we'll get back to that in a minute, because I'm telling you that was it. Okay, let's keep going. Look at John Starks is right now. He's almost on the floor. Who is this in the gray? Guys, who's this in the gray blazer to the right that's in Roy Williams's defensive crouch position, adjacent to the stanchion? Who is that? I can't tell based on the quality of the video. It's not Vince Carter. That's got to be a former player. Who's wearing that suit? That's Stefan Marbury? Wow. Okay, thank you, Chet. Let's keep going. Oh, wait, hold on. Are we out of bounds right now? Oh, hold on. This one's close. Is he out of... Nope, definitely not. Nope. He's not out of bounds. He's not out of bounds. When did this occur? Steph Castle out of bounds. I have no clue when this happened. Oh, this was a minute 2 left? A minute 2 with the Knicks up by 1. Brunson missed that grenade toss-up. I have no clue what happened in the last minute of this game. I have no clue. What was this moment? Brunson misses a fadeaway jumper? What the fuck happened here? Okay, 5 seconds on the shot clock. 3, 2. Just tried to get something up. Oh, even Cat missed it off the back rim. Are you fucking kidding me? Even if that counted? Watch this shit. Okay, so I'm going to make the determination that Steph Castle never stepped out of bounds, but that was with 102 left. That was not in the final seconds. There was plenty of basketball to be played after that. And for all the moments here that are controversial, you can just add that to the ledger, quite honestly. Go to Spurs Reporter for a alternate angle. Okay, I will do that. I will do that for you. Spurs at Spurs Reporter. Spurs Reporter. Alternate angle. Let's take a look. I can't believe John Starks, man. Oh, the left foot. But we looked at the other angle. Watch the left foot here. Left foot. Okay, alternate angle. Hold on. He's inbounds. Right foot's inbounds. Can I zoom in anymore? This is as far as it goes, people. Okay, here we go. Frame by frame. You ready? Okay, so is this Courtney Kirkland right here? Or is that Gucci Ref? It's one of the two. He's right there, though. He's right on top of it. Man, that's close. And even if you're standing right there, you have to make a decision. You don't have the luxury of frame-by-frame replay. Okay, but guys, even in the event that Steph Castle was not out of bounds, how much time is left on the shot clock? There's only 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And he potentially could have been ruled for an offensive foul there, as Josh Hart embellished. So this is not, James Williams, thank you. Okay, one more time. Oh, right there. There it is. Okay. I'm not even emotional right now, but when you get old, you just get a bunch of mucus like originating for no reason. I'm going to be up all night. So I'm just going to be watching things back, looking for a thing. Okay. Chad, are you still there with me? Are you awake right now? What's going on? Guys, this is the one time that the police chase is not going to supersede what happened on a basketball court. And you need to forgive me. We're going to watch it on replay. I've obviously not seen what happened. Okay. I see YouTube's popping off right now. Bonus stat of the night from Jish. Because it's the last stream possibly ever. Teams down 20 plus points in postseason in the last 2 years. The Knicks are 5-3 in rest of NBA is 4. Knicks are 5-3 rest. I can't speak English. I can't read right now. Okay, you guys are still here. All right, I'm not talking to nobody. We're up to 80,000 in the Twitter chat. Speaking of, I need to hold on. I'll come right back. I need to just, since this might be the last stream ever, I need to pin this to my. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for Game 5, but for those of you that watched the previous stream, okay, hold on. Those of you that watched the previous stream, you know that my credential for Games 5, 6, and 7, unfortunately, were not accepted because there's been so many requests from the NBA, but I'm going to press pretty hard tomorrow to follow up and see if I can get to San Antonio. So I'm going to press my boss at SiriusXM because we obviously have the best chance of getting to I can get to San Antonio before I can get to New York with a credential. It's a lot easier to do that just because of the Knicks. But if I go to San Antonio, I'm not going to be able to do a stream after. And I'm still debating. I was pretty set on not going because I'm not going to have a credential. But now that this happened, I kind of feel the need to be able to be there for every single game. So I really don't know what's going to happen next, people. I'm sorry. I can't give you any clarification on that. Okay, let's continue with this. Oh, I just saw a comment from Matt about Fox passing it to Wemby at the end of the third when he was still in the backcourt, that egregious turnover. How about the Jose Alvarado when he was in the front court, but the ball had not crossed half court yet? Do you think that he knew that? Because it looked like a backcourt violation, but because the ball had not come across the line, both feet and the ball have to cross for it to technically be a backcourt violation. And he was still dribbling in the backcourt. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Chad is telling, yes. Brian, what's up? Says you said you would go to every game. I did. And I don't mind paying for it, but allow me the opportunity to be a little snooty for a second, because with a credential, I know I can get into the Knicks locker room with a media credential after if they win. And the whole point of being there is being able to celebrate with some of my closest connections, which are Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. And I want to be able to, like, after they're done celebrating and doing the media, just being able to, like, give them a hug or something would make that more valuable for me. I would be doing work as well. But I'm going to press my VP at SiriusXM tomorrow because Antonio is not going to be there for Game 5. It's over the weekend, and I don't think he's going to be present for the pregame show. So perhaps that I can replace his credential. If that happens, I will go to San Antonio. I absolutely will go to San Antonio. I will figure that out tomorrow. But I don't want to go. Again, I don't mind paying. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And I understand it's worth every penny. Especially in San Antonio, it's going to be cheap as hell to be able to go compared to New York. That's not the problem. I just don't want to be celebrate. Also, there's going to be retribution for all of the shit that happened after Game 3 where the Spurs fans were getting beat up. I don't I don't want to create some shit. I just want to go there and enjoy the moment. And there's going to be upset Spurs fans. I have no intention to rub it in their face. This is a great basketball team. I have nothing but love for San Antonio, but all it takes is one crazy Twitter person to identify me and put me in the hospital when I'm not looking. I have to also remember that too. So I would prefer to be sitting in a media specific section where I can be in the tunnels and avoid that potential from happening. Right. I hope you guys understand that reasoning. Now, with that said, can we go back to what's on the screen right here? Okay. So Steph Castle right here. Is he out of bounds? It's not, certainly not as bad as Kevin Durant saving that basketball once upon a time. SNY DZY says, let the video run. Wemby had something thrown at him going into the hotel. Did he get hurt? I'm not going to sit here and say, fuck Wemby. Like, man, I am not for the zombie. I can't control the zombies, but I'm not going to support them either. I love Knicks fans. I love conversing with you all, but I'm not going to sit here and say harming the other team is something I'm going to support. Let the vid run. They do a slow motion zoom. Okay, I'll do that now. Oh, that's close. Thank you for whoever said that in the chat. Okay, here we go. We're doing a Zapruder film breakdown, which, by the way, I had to hold the line today because of my introduction to Game 3. I thought I was just talking about something I found interesting, but I woke up today to a tweet that had almost 1 million views about how I was calling out the San Antonio Spurs for avoiding a post-game interview. I was like, man, I know what happens at the end of these games, and they tried to get Wemby off the floor. I wasn't trying to brew up some conspiracy theory that the NBA is trying to shield Victor Wembanyama from the floor interviews or Knicks fans. I was just like, man, listen, I know the way that this works. Security gets the players off the floor. PR chases after, or producers, field producers chase after him and say, we want to talk to Victor Wembanyama. And that was it. But it turned into this whole thing, and I woke up today like, what the fuck? Okay, anyway. Okay, here's the step. Oh, that's close. All right. He may not be out of bounds, guys. He may not be out of bounds, but it's close. It's really close. That's really close. And to expect, even though I think it's James Williams who's standing in the corner, for him to be on top of it, looking straight at it, and he was the one who blew the whistle. How many of these calls were the Karl Anthony Towns hook of Victor Wembanyama was close. That's close. It could have gone either way. If it was egregious, I would sit here and certainly console Spurs fans for an injustice being done upon them. But this is kind of close, right? And this is what he's having to interpret in real time to determine if he was out of bounds or not. And considering this is in New York, maybe he didn't want to be responsible for the one who didn't blow the whistle when Steph Castle was out of bounds. Does this happen in San Antonio? Maybe not, but that's one of the advantages of having home court. Great point from Brian in the chat. Adam Silver said they wanted to take out-of-bounds calls out of the ref's hands with technology, and this would be a good reason as to why. Preach, my friend, preach. If that line gets stepped on a way that it just kind of illuminates, the same way that they have the goaltending technology now, where they can determine the arc of when the basketball is losing its momentum and descending back towards the ground, they can determine, okay, that's goaltending because the ball is actually decreasing. in elevation. They're going to come out with that technology at some point for baseline out of bounds calls or sideline out of bounds calls, but they don't have it yet. The same way they have first down lines on the television, those yellow lines that are on television, but they're not actually on the field. And now that they're using those electronic first down markers, that's going to be coming to the NBA at some point. But this one is so close that would technology have lit up here? Maybe, maybe not. I think he's in bounds. I want to state for the record, I think he's in bounds based on both angles that we saw, but it's so close that it's just one of those calls that went against you. Good point from Handel in the chat, who says if they did challenge it, it would have been inconclusive. I do want to see this video that you guys are talking about. Knicks fans throwing something at Wemby, which I really wish didn't happen. Unfortunately, I can't control these millions of people. Okay, I got it. Here we go. Let's hope this misses. I really hope there's not. This is not a storyline. Oh my God, there's so many Knicks fans outside their hotel. Like we won the game. Dylan Harper's got his headphones in, like what's happening right now. All right, here we go. There's Wemby. Killed. Oh! Did it hit the light pole? Did it hit the light pole? Let's watch again. I think it hit the light pole. Let's see if it hits him. Hey, Carter Bryant with the smile on his face. I love that. I love this shit, man. Okay, someone threw something at him first. Oh, it hit the pole. It hit the pole. You ain't ready for New York. You ain't ready for New York. Wow. One more time. It's like we lost it. This is like if we lost the game, Chet. Man, this series isn't over yet, though. I love Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant is so funny. Okay, watch. Someone throws something at Wemby first, and it goes to his feet. Okay, see right there. It hits him in the back. Oh! That looked like a can of some kind. Man, there's a lot of zombies out there. That's not enough security. Okay. Assessment on this. Like this is going to, the city's going to burn if the Knicks win one more game. And at least if it happens in San Antonio, the Spurs players don't have to worry about something like this happening and harming their health. I wish they can just be escorted, chauffeured, protected, because this is like a Knicks rival. It's not someone that has said, fuck New York City. Listen, man, they're competing out there. So I do not support treating a special talent this way. But also on San Antonio's side, they have like 3 guys out there protecting Wemby. 3 against this mob. Against this, there's got to be 10,000 people. Get more security. Put an umbrella up. Put a riot shield up. That's the most precious asset in the game of basketball right now in 2026. And you're just letting him walk with AirPods into the hotel in the middle of World War Z? In the middle of 28 days later? Oh, the zombies, they won't come for me because I'm surrounded by 2 guys with credentials. Are you nuts? That's my assessment of what happened here. Why are those first two guys not standing back waiting for Wembanyama? Why are they walking into the hotel? The players, go ahead. Fox, you may have choked, but go ahead. Luke Cornett, you may be the only net negative, but go ahead. Carter Bryant, you're smiling. Steph Castle didn't miss a free throw for the last week. Dylan Harper's in his own zone, scrolling. Go ahead. And then here's Keldon Johnson with his ranch hat. And then Victor Wembanyama by himself, as if everyone's going to treat him with respect. Everyone's going to treat him with respect in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. I don't support it, but that was a firm misunderstanding of what you are walking into here in the Mecca. But take him to the back door. Keep him on the bus. Why just let him walk in the street with 3 dudes around him against 10,000? You motherfucker, I'm walking over here, gabba go. Like, that's what you're going to be hearing with cans and bottles and shit and rocks and fucking rats being thrown at you. That was a lack of awareness by San Antonio Spurs security that they thought they can make it from the door to the revolving door of the hotel unscathed. I just saw something in the chat that said Brunson and Bridges are used to winning championships in San Antonio, but not as the enemy. That was a neutral site. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, this series is not over. There's been plenty of 3-1 comebacks in NBA history. The series is not over. And if they win game 5, you better believe there's going to be the weight of the world on the Knicks' shoulders coming back to Madison Square Garden to close it out. And they haven't won us. They've been down by double digits in every game this series. Every game. Until that Karl Anthony Towns miracle 3 in the corner where Keldon Johnson recklessly closed out and sent him into the bench. That's what it took for Karl Anthony Towns. Did he score after that? Did he score a single point in the fourth quarter other than that shot? Because it was all Jalen Brunson. I'm looking this shit up right now. We're going to go through the box score because I got nothing but time. I'm going to be up all night. Let's find out how many shots Karl Anthony Towns made, starting in the beginning of the quarter. Right side of your screen. Let's look for a cat made 3 because that's the first one that goes in. Towns, there it is. 7:28 mark. This is the play I'm talking about. Look at this. Oh my God. That is so offensive. Watch cats lay. This is so, oh my God. Oh, that's a clear offensive foul. Oh my God. Oh, watch his right leg. Oh my God. That is blatant, unnatural shooting motion to draw contact. If they review that, that is the most obvious offensive foul ever. Ever. And how did he get his feet behind the line without stepping out of bounds? He steps back from the logo in the finals. He's on the logo, and he doesn't. He somehow picks that ground between the arc and the sideline. This is such an offensive foul. He makes Keldon Johnson trip over him. For a game in which they micromanaged physicality for the first hour and a half that it took to get to the halftime locker rooms, that they missed that? For as much as they missed on the Knicks in the first half with the Wembanyama putback goaltend that was so clearly an offensive goaltend, they missed some other shit. There was the overturn of the Karl-Anthony Towns foul. They missed the Steph Castle out of bounds, which I think was inbounds. And this right here is an egregious offensive foul. Egregious. Is that, wait, offensive players can't get flagrants for that. How about Jose Alvarado getting him the ball, by the way? You guys have heard me this entire postseason say Jose Alvarado's entire job is just getting Karl-Anthony Towns the basketball. And he just passes him a grenade like, here, go. Look at Dylan Harper right now, looking at the shot clock. Like, is this dude about to step back? Oh, the Jose Alvarado goaltend. Oh my God. And I understand why the referees thought he may have been passing that to Mitchell Robinson, but he was not. That was going to the rim. Like, how many missed calls can we accumulate for both sides here, people? So this wasn't some grand conspiracy against the Spurs at all, nor was it against the Knicks. These refs missed so many calls tonight. So many calls. Yes. Meatman 253. Kicking your leg out is a written, they updated the rule book for this play exactly. An unnatural, is that a three-pointer? Wait a second. Look at Karl-Anthony Towns' right foot. Is that a three? Did they even go to the monitor to review that in the TV timeout? Is he on the line? Bro, how many of these plays are decided by millimeters? Not even inches. How many? Oh, okay. Here, at least Cat, I think, pulls his leg back a little bit. I can see floor. Just a sliver. Just a sliver of floor between Cat and the three-point line. That's a three, but barely. Even then, it's not a game of inches. This is a game of millimeters tonight between Steph Castle and Cat. If that's a two, think about how that influences the final score when you have a one-point game. Somebody in the chat just said, holy shit, we're still live? We're only in hour 2. Radio Roulette, we would run for 4 hours all night. Hours, locust hours. I haven't even put on lo-fi yet. I'm running out of White Claws and I bought a pack of 24. Anyway. Yeah, that's a 3. Wow. Okay. What we were doing this because we wanted to see if Karl-Anthony Towns scored again. Towns had a driving layup to make it 97-88. Oh my God, this play. Oh my Lord. Like, I remember them showing the slow motion replay on this. I think Wemby got super physical with him on this. It should have been a foul before he got the shot up. Like, oh, right there. That was multiple fouls in one play, not called. Like, I'm serious. Did any Knicks fans in the chat ever think this game was over? If you've been watching games this year, did any of you think that this was over? I know I didn't. NBA 20-point lead is like being up by a touchdown. That's the retraining of brains that the NBA needs to do with your mainstream sports fan. Because if you're up by 20 in college basketball or maybe FIBA, the game's over, but not the NBA, man. 20 points is being up by a touchdown. If even at 30, if it's too early, that lead is not safe. Did Karl Anthony Towns have any other buckets? Oh my God, Alvarado. Oh, this was so nasty. This Alvarado drop step, spinning finger roll layup. Look at this, because he identifies that Wemby cleared out. Wee! Because Wemby was closing out the other side. He's had to clear out so much room to scramble out to the jump shooter. Wee! Leon Rose with the Landry Shamet draft in the G League, taking him second overall to secure his rights, as well as the wee Jose Alvarado drop step around Jambeni. Okay, what else? And then Alvarado 3-point jump shot. That was so sick. How did all of these just go in the fourth? That wasn't even a screen, but they're doubling Brunson because they're worried about him taking over. And then he hits a punish three. The first time that Jose Alvarado has probably been on the floor at the same time as Jalen Brunson this year in a moment that matters. Like they got Harper and Vassell. Wemby kind of closing out off of Josh Hart. It's a 7-point game at the time. This was, if I'm not mistaken, after Vassell or Darren Fox just had hit a three. And he just steps into this bitch and says, buckets. Because the Spurs hit so many big shots, man, to keep the Knicks at an arm's length for a majority of this comeback. They were not void of big shot making. Like, why is this so open? Because Jalen Brunson's gravity now has a second body, hoping that there's a rotation. And how much time was on the shot clock if Jose Alvarado decided to swing this ball to Josh Hart? Let's find out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, Josh Hart would have easily gotten up a corner three. So the closeout by Wemby was acceptable, in my opinion. Okay, what's next? Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? I don't think we're going to make the police chase tonight. Sorry. For the first time in WAB history. Why can't I see anything? We're going to have to delay the police chase. Okay. Like these OG threes. Let's just... How did these just keep going in? 7:10 left. Just catch and shoot. And they had to keep shooting these because Wemby was down there. And the Knicks didn't get a single look at the rim other than Karl Anthony Towns the entire fourth. Oh my God. Wow. Brunson free throws. Alvarado rebound. What's this one? Brunson, Anunoby 3-point jump shot. Just all these buckets. Oh, what a... Did you see? How about Alvarado bounce passing that bitch? I remember this now. Shit, I need to relive all of this because I just blacked out. Alvarado bounce passing, bowling this ball. In rhythm, not at the ankles, on a platter with Wemby closing out. He put some English on that bitch. You see the spin on that thing? Hold on a second. Does he give it a little, yeah? Watch this. Oh, he does. Look at the spin on that thing. I'm going to frame by frame this. Look at this. Look at this. The audacity. Watch it. Wait, let me see this. This pops up. Okay, please be in the frame, chat. Please be in the frame. Oh, it is in the frame. Okay. Can I zoom in? No. Oh my God, so annoying. I keep double clicking and it keeps hold on. Oh, okay, right here. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Jose is about to spin this thing around Wemby. Look at his left elbow. That is not the form of someone that is doing a very standard linear frozen rope chest pass to the corner. Because if he does, it would have ended up like that Jalen Brunson pass that got intercepted and led to a San Antonio Spurs fast break shortly before this. Watch him spin this bitch around Wemby just so naturally. Watch this. Because Wemby's collapsing. He's now in the motion of bounce pass. Oh, look at that thing. Look at that thing. It's just so pretty. It looks like a basic bounce pass, but it's not. That left elbow is not extended right here. Okay, I got to get it past Wemby. Come here. Let me spin it. Come here. It's like a cat chasing a laser pointer. Come here. Just whoop. That ball's got sinker spin on it, and it's going to hit the F in the finals, and it's going to bounce right up into his chest. Because if you bounce that at his ankles, he's going to miss it. But watch this thing just pop up like a topspin tennis shot. Here it comes. It's going to hit the F right now. It just did. And it's going to pop up. Look at OG's hands. Right into the breadbasket. Look where Wemby has to close out from. Look where Wemby has to close out from. He's inside the restricted area. You, sir, are toast. Because OG takes his time lining this up, too. Watch this. Line it up. Line it up. Wemby is now... Wait, how quickly does this fucking alien close? Hold on. Okay, we're in closeout mode right now. Wemby's got to get from the restricted area to the corner, which is probably the furthest position other than the top of the arc. Oh, motherfucker. Okay, hold on. He's gathering right now to jump. He's gathering right now to go full vertical to try and influence OG. He goes off one leg, so that's 7'5", about to fully extend. But the problem is he's taking off from the block. He's taking off from the block. Look how fucking tall this guy is. Are you kidding me? But OG's too far away, and OG's 6'9" with a 9-foot standing reach. So while OG is doing while Wemby's doing his version of a cornet contest, it is not having the same influence over a 6'9" guy the same way that it would, let's say, Jose Alvarado or Jalen Brunson, where you need to change the arc. And the ball's already gone at this point. And even then, this contest is not enough. Bang. Hey. Oh my God. Okay, what's next? What's next? More. I want more. Oh, we saw this one. We saw this one. What's the score at this point? Brunson made a 3? I don't remember this at all. 221 to make it a 1-point deficit. I have no clue what happens here. Let's watch. Just Jalen Brunson against a 7'5" guy in isolation. No big deal. No big deal at all. Okay. I wouldn't pull that either. I think Jose gives it right back to him. He does. Okay, so we're going to clear out here. But if you clear out, you're not taking Wemby with you. So you're going to grab his hip without even knowing what comes next. Do you think Jose taps his left hip on the way through? Because that's usually what people do. Let's see. Oh my God, I hate this. I got to go large. Hold on. No, he didn't. Okay. So now we have Brunson versus Wemby. You're telling me there's 6 seconds on the shot clock. This results in a Knicks 3? How? Let's find out. How? 5 seconds left. How the fuck does this end up in a Brunson 3? That's Victor Wembanyama not giving any ground. He's got a foot outside the three-point arc. Pull! Just pull! Don't tell me this goes in. Wemby's full. Like, you can't close out any better. That's perfect defense against a guy that's a foot and a half shorter than you. This goes in? How? As we've asked all night, how? How? Does that... It doesn't make sense how that went in. I have no clue how that went in. I don't even remember that happening. The Knicks had so many shots in the fourth. I do not remember this happening. Like, look at Wemby's like, what the fuck? What more can you do besides block it? Chad, are you still awake? You've got awfully quiet over there. Yeah. YouTube, I see you guys are still commenting. Twitter's kind of fallen asleep on me. Can sleep when we're dead. We'll be up all night over here. Oh, Jish says that was the same spot as the Carmelo 3 versus the Bulls on Easter. Yeah, it was. Just divine intervention, right? Ben says 999 times out of 1,000. When you see a middle-aged man with a shirt on his head hyper-examining videos on a stream, the dude is usually crazy. This is the one time it's not. Well, I beg to differ on the crazy part, but yeah, no clue that happened. Zero clue that occurred until we just watched it back. I see you. What's up, Xander? It says my cheeks were clenched. Yes, they were. I guess mine clearly too. Synchronicities of the universe says, pardon my baked. Punk Sugar says, watch the last 3 minutes for my knees as a Spurs fan. I'm sorry, Punk. You had to go through that. The OG 3 at the end of the third. Andre says, Wob, you said you'd remain calm until the Knicks were at 3 wins. How are we feeling? I hope this stream, the way that I look right now, resembles that. And then the Knicks didn't score. Wait a second. They didn't score again? So Brunson hit a floating jump shot to give them the lead. What the fuck happened here? What did Brunson get into? Was this the right-handed one? No. Oh my God. How does that go in? They're just so fucking shook. Steph, whoop. Like, that's great defense. I mean, what else are you supposed to do defensively? Mike Breen, his Knicks fandom, he's trying his best to remain objective. Just boop. Yeah, I want to boop that nose like you see a cute dog. Boop. I just want to boop that little put shot. Boop. Ready? Boop. The OG Anunoby 3 that hit the front of the rim, the back of the rim, and rattled in. Jose Alvarado hit a corner 3 during the comeback that hit the front of the rim, the back of the rim, and rattled in. This is divine intervention, guys. If you don't believe in a higher power now, I don't know when you will ever. I mean, that all of these shots went in to contribute to the comeback, and all of those things happened. There's no explanation for it to happen that many times unless it's divine intervention. And then the OG tip shot in the lane. So let's watch this. Why is it frozen? I'm frozen. Can you guys still hear me? It's just froze on me. Can you guys let me know in the chat? Anybody hear me? I've lost my ability to click on. Maybe if I stop sharing. Oh, that worked. I can hear it. It's running loud and clear. Okay, thank you, chat. It just froze on me. Hold on. Oh, it's not letting me share anymore. Are we back? Let's see. Are we back? We're back. Let's go. Okay, so Brunson pulls a three from... I want to see where Brunson pulls this three from. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is where he pulls from? Dude, Victor Wembanyama's outside the three-point line. This is where he pulls from? Wish I wouldn't do that. Look at, guys, can you defend this any better? Just like before, that's a 7'5" guy guarding a 6-foot guy. And he's pulling from 34, 35 feet away, double teamed. Look at OG Anunoby at the top of your screen. He inbounded the basketball. He's calling for it right now. If Jalen Brunson passes that, Steph Castle's going to pick it off. Steph Castle's got his head turned around. He would have jumped that passing lane in a heartbeat unless Cat is hard rolling. So I guess Brunson had to pull this. He's got a 7'5" guy that's influencing his next decision. Like, okay. Brunson gets a decent look at it. Now, let's watch OG. So at the top of your screen, you can see Steph Castle is now responsible for guarding both Karl-Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby on the putback. But the good news for the Spurs is there's only 4 seconds left when the ball leaves his hands. So even if the Knicks get an offensive rebound, they're going to have to gather and get that thing up almost immediately with control and get a decent look at it, which is a lot easier said than done. Oh my, dude, I'm not even clicking that quickly. What the fuck? Okay. I'm going to bring it back. I mean, OG's got the Steph Castle correctly decides to box out Karl-Anthony Towns. He's in full box out mode, and I would be shocked if I keep hitting play on this if Karl-Anthony Towns gets any sort of look at a second chance opportunity. But OG is unmarked, and that's not Dylan Harper's responsibility either because he's dealing with Landry Shamet. Devin Vassell is tagged to Mikal Bridges, and Victor Wembanyama being that double team is out of the paint. Okay. Man, look, so we have right now, we have 2 San Antonio Spurs with feet in the paint. Dylan Harper and Steph Castle with Devin Vassell almost there. 3 opportunities to get up and just tap this shit into the air to run out the time and expire this game. Wow. Okay, so how about here? Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper, Steph Castle. Steph Castle has done his job, undoubtedly keeping Karl Anthony Towns from getting an uncontested look at an offensive rebound. Dylan Harper is going up the same way that he went up to influence that jump ball that he got from Josh Hart. He probably feels pretty confident that I can go up there and at the very least just kind of hit the shit, take your fist and just go zoom into the air. Superman, Mortal Kombat, uppercut punch style to just get the ball out of there and the game ends. But OG's already taken off. He's already gathered. And OG's got a lot more size than number 5, number 2, and number 24. There's your statue. That's the statue right there. Look how close Dylan Harper. My God, look how close Dylan Harper is to knocking that basketball, guys. Look how close it is. Hold on. I'm going to zoom in. Look how many times have we pulled up an example in the box score from the fourth quarter alone where Karl Anthony Towns' fingertips are on the inbounds pass? Dylan Harper is millimeters, if not inches. I'm sorry, inches, if not millimeters away from just touching leather and forcing that ball to go away from a tap back. And the ghost of Patrick Ewing in this same spot from 95. How does Dylan Harper not get to that? All he has to do is touch it ET style with his finger like this, and the game is over. All he doesn't need to stop OG. Just touch the basketball. Because OG doesn't have a firm grip of it. He's got it in his fingertips and his palm. All Dylan Harper has to do is get up there an extra inch or two to deflect it. Oh my God. Divine intervention. Divine intervention. It's the only explanation. That celebration by Karl Anthony Towns is so reminiscent, oh my God, of this right here. When Patrick Ewing at the end of the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals against Indiana, when they got that Reggie Miller air ball, the game wasn't even close to being over. Patrick Ewing in that famous photo, when he went like this, he went all down Celebrity Row and high-fived everybody when it was still a one-possession game before Reggie Miller's flagrant foul, the most phantom flagrant foul in the history of basketball. And Karl Anthony Towns just can't help but hug, even though we have to play defense right now with 1.2 seconds left. It wasn't as this game is over as what Patrick Ewing did in 94, but like Towns just can't help but hug his buddy. Like, are you telling him we just won or we just got to stop? We just need one more stop. That's the fourth quarter. Last word tonight. The last word has to be divine intervention. What a fucking game. Not home yet. One more to go. But I've now spent the last 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 4 seconds trying to answer questions on how this happens. And after going through every single play, I still don't have any answers for you. I don't know if this is going to be the last stream or not, but it's been a pleasure either way. If I don't go to San Antonio, I'll likely be back with you guys at some point, for sure. But if not, see you on the timeline.